Hey, what is up YouTube? It's Malorn here, and I'm here with another wonderful video for you guys today. Today we are currently, as you can see in my very messy red barn farm, I've got some elder seeds in the back, but that's not what we're going to talk about. I was going to talk about castle magic. I was going to make a second guide, an updated guide on castle magic. But it turns out that, well, apparently all the bugs aren't quite sorted out. I'm not sure if it's bugs or just they forgot something. I don't know. That might be a bug. I don't know much about computers. But there is something wrong with it, and I will explain it to you here right now. It's involving the magic counters. Now, I don't know if any of you have actually tried the new the new castle magic stuff, but castle magic in general is pretty complex. It's pretty complicated. It's hard to understand. It's hard to explain, even. You know, that's why my last video was an hour long. It was extremely long. Like it could have been shorter, but there was a lot of stuff to go through. So it took an hour, but it shouldn't. My next one shouldn't take anywhere near that long because they didn't add all that much new stuff to it. They did add some really cool stuff. I will give them that. All right, so this is the magic counter. This is what the magic counter looks like. It is a green cube. As you can see, just set it down on the ground, right? And it's a little more complicated than that. You can't just set it on the ground and it works. Okay. Supposedly, it's got a counter, and you can make it display the counter on the screen and the test value. So essentially, what the counter is, I'm assuming, is given like a certain, I don't know exactly how it works because again, I haven't had a chance to test this. Haven't had a chance to try this out, and there is not a single guide on it out there anywhere. I have looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. There's not a YouTube video. There's not a guide. I looked hard to find a central forum post, you know, just kind of scouting through. Not a central forum post that I was able to find. It's not a Wizard101 guide that I was able to find. There is nothing involving this topic. Nothing. It's like everyone just suddenly decided to ignore the new castle magic spells, which I found pretty interesting. Not just the spells, but the actual items, like the castle magic items. They just completely ignored them, you know. And no one's thought to kind of make a detailed guide on it. And I'm assuming that's because there's already a tome. You know, there's already like an informational area, or you could just click help here. But to be completely honest with you, none of these are very explanatory. It says, let me read this to you for a second. The magic counter holds a count. It can react to the count changing. It has an options page where you can set a test value to compare against the count. It has 3 triggers. When count equals value, when count is over value, and when count is under value. It's only visible when the place item window is open. So it's invisible whenever you close this thing out. It disappears. Alright. The add counter spell adds 1 value. Adds 1 to the value of the counter. Display the value of the counter at the top of the screen. This is useful for testing or to use as a score. The value of the counter is compared against this test value. The subtract from counter spell subtracts 1 from the value of the counter. The clear counter spell sets the value of the counter to 0. Take all that in for a second. Try and process that. Think about what they just left out. What they did not explain. What they forgot to explain. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe what they just thought we didn't need explained to us. How does the counter work? There is no information that tells us how the counter works. We don't know if it's based off of a timer system, a timing system. We don't know if it, maybe you can set the timer to something, and it doesn't appear that you can. There's no way here to set the timer. You don't know how the timer works. Another thing that I'd like to point out, beyond the fact that no one knows how the timer works, no one's looked into it, and KI hasn't provided any sort of information to the topic. We don't know how the heck to do it. We don't know how to use it because there's not a single bit of information available to do that. Besides that, you see how that little box there is checked, display on screen? That button, according to the instructions, it's not really supposed to, okay, you see this here? This kind of explains it a little better. Alright, it's going to, put the value, the current value that's in the magic counter, the number, and it's going to compare it against this test value, this number right here. So if I set this test value to 3, that's the test value right there. This is the counter's value. All right, test value, counter value, test value, counter value, counter value, test value. The test value is just kind of something you can base your current counter value off of. It's not the actual value of the counter. Let me explain that a little bit more, because I have figured out a few things in regards to this. It's a big mess. Honestly, the freaking magic computer was simpler than this. And it actually worked. It actually did what it's supposed to. And before I go any further into this whole counter versus, test value versus counter value thing, see how that says display on screen? Watch. You're supposed to be able to close it out, and it is supposed to display it somewhere on the screen. It is supposed to, it's kind of like the little timer that you can put in your castle. The magic timer or whatever. You set a timer, and after the timer is up or something like that, it does a certain thing, like maybe a banshee attacks your Leviathan pet, or maybe a banshee attacks your, I don't know, your Elvis Presley seeds in your front yard, Okay. Or a lightning bolt strikes your castle, stuff like that. Well, it actually displays the counter up at the top. It displays the timer up at the top. That is the same thing, sort of, that is supposed to happen when you checkbox, display counter. It is not displaying the counter. And let's see if we can go through the settings and maybe it shows something. Hardware cursor, texture detail, graphics detail, full screen resolution, blah, blah, blah. None of this has anything to do with that. Sound, music volume, sound effects volume, dialogue volume. Nope. Overhead names, tutorial tips, 2D combat display, NPC chatter, chat menu, chat balloons, quest helper. Nope. Hidden to friends, dungeon warnings, backpack item lock, quest finder, add spell favorites, housing pet names, earn crowns. Nope. Friend notifications, chat text size, and victory dance. Nope. Allow friend requests, allow trade requests, allow hatch requests, allow friend teleports, group invites, PvP team chat only, and limit home to friends. Nope. Realms. Nope. Credits. Yeah, there they are right there. Nope. Nope, not there. Nope, nothing. There's nothing. There's no settings that you go to fix it. It doesn't work. It's broken. Not broken per se, but obviously something's wrong with it, And it's not that I'm mad at KI about this. I'm not mad at them because their display counter thing doesn't work, And the counter itself, let me show you something. Alright? Castle magic is supposed to be able to do stuff. It changes something in your castle. The timer, like I said, you can make a banshee attack your pet. You can make a banshee attack a housing item that is placed in your castle or within a general vicinity of that castle item. So if you have like a pillar in the middle of your castle, right? You can make a lightning bolt strike it, but sometimes it doesn't strike exactly on the pillar, which is kind of annoying. It'll strike like a few blocks, quote unquote, blocks away from it. It gets kind of irritating, but it still does something. It affects something in some way, shape, or form. Okay? Watch what happens whenever I try and use the magic counter to do something. Alright, we are going to select the target item for the castle magic spell. The target item we are going to select is this wagon. Alright, we have selected the wagon. Let's move the wagon closer to the box so that we don't have to keep moving all the way over there. Alright, just convenience issue. Okay, what we're gonna do now, we are going to try and let's hit it with a lightning bolt. Hit it with a lightning bolt. Okay, give it your best shot. Alright, now when count equals value, cast spell. Again, the test value is the value that is being compared to the current counter value. So, again, because we have no idea how the counter value even works, there's no instructions on it, I have no idea how this happens. I have no idea how the counter value is supposed to go up. I just know that if the counter value, if I set the test value at 3, for this to activate, the counter value must also be 3. That I know. But because there is, no counter value anywhere on the screen, and there is no way to find the counter value, and there is no way to understand how the counter value works, I don't know what the counter value is. It drives me nuts. Alright, now, one thing that I'd like to throw out there. This is how, supposedly these spells are how you get the actual counter to start. You know, adds 1 counter, or adds 1 to a magic counter. What I'd like to know is, okay, then what? You know, you add the counter, because watch what happens whenever, hang on, take this out for a second. This is a magic counter, add to counter. Counter spells only work with magic counters. This is a magic counter. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well maybe put another magic counter in the same area. Alright, here's another magic counter. Watch what happens when I put that magic counter there. And let's do that. Then we do that. Now, okay, it works. Now what? What am I supposed to do beyond that? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't allow any of these other spells to work. The only thing I can do with it is set a timer in my castle that does absolutely nothing. What is the point of this? If it doesn't do anything, why do I need it? What is it supposed to do? And I don't know if this is a bug, or maybe I'm just not understanding how this works, because they didn't provide enough information. No matter how long I sit here and test this out, I cannot figure out how to get the counter, the amount of, you know, the magic counter. I cannot figure out how to find the counter value. I know that I currently have a counter value of 1 because I put 1 counter, add to counter spell in there. If that's how you find the counter, then how do you get it to do anything? Alright, either it doesn't work. Okay, either it doesn't work, it's bugged, or maybe they messed up somewhere, or I'm not understanding this because not enough instructions and information was provided. And yeah, it drives me nuts. And the thing is completely useless. Okay, because, well, actually, that's 3 options. Either it's not working, I don't understand how to get it to work, and if that's the thing, then, I mean, I've tried pretty much everything at this point. Or, option 3, because I have tried everything, I'm leaning either, I'm basically kicking option 2 out. Either it's option 1 or option 3, and option 3 is that it works, I understand how it works, and it doesn't do anything, which leads me to the question of why is this a thing? Why does this exist? What is the point of this? What could I possibly use this for if it doesn't do anything? If all I can do is add counters to it, then why is this here? It blows my mind. What am I supposed to do with this? Because the only way I can get this add to counter spell to do anything or interact in any way with the magic counter is by selecting the target at... Okay. Take a deep breath. I am getting a little upset here, obviously. but I think it's a little justified. If you're going to put a system out there, and again, I'm not saying that, you know, I know 100% sure that I know how this works. I'm just saying that I have tested this out a lot so far. And it seems like the only way that I can interact in any way with these magic counters is by doing this. Selecting putting the target item as another magic counter. Or I guess maybe even just selecting the magic counter itself and adding to that counter. You put the little add the counter spell right here. But here's the thing. If we do that, then we can't do any of these. None of these other cool things that we can do, those don't work. See all this? You can't do anything with that. Because it's this, all of the spots are being taken up by these. Now watch what happens whenever I come over here. Do this, okay? Watch. Okay. Again, keep in mind, display on screen, there is currently nothing being displayed on the screen at all. No, there is no information being displayed anywhere on the screen. Alright, none. 0. Okay. Now we go over here. Watch. If I can find it. There we go. See? Look what it's doing. It currently, I don't know what it's doing because I keep clicking on it. See how it says 2? I click on it and it shows up with a little 3 that quickly turns back into a 2. That tells me that I think it's bugged. It's not working properly. Something is currently wrong with it. Because what I think, how I think this is supposed to work. And again, this is based off of my current understanding because there has been pretty much no information provided to help me. I have exited out of the game, I have logged all the way back in, and it has not changed. Alright, I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this. You know, if you are, please let me know. If you're not, please definitely let me know because I don't know if this is an issue that's affecting everyone or if it's just affecting me. Okay. Normally, especially with castle magic, I would just immediately, you know, just jump to the conclusion that I just didn't quite understand how it worked. Because, yeah, castle magic is complicated. It's hard to understand. Eventually, you know, given enough practice and enough just randomly testing random stuff on other random stuff, just completely mindlessly doing so, eventually you get the hang of it. And it gets fun once, you know, once you get through that testing stage. It's amazing. It's fun. The things you can do with it are awesome. But the fact that we even have to, and I know this sounds like a completely lazy thing to say, but it's true. The fact that we even have to go through that testing period to understand how castle magic works is ridiculous. They made a guide. They put the castle tome, that's a thing, and they even put this here. Okay, this is essentially like a table of contents. It's a quick little castle tome. Okay, a quickie. It tells you how everything works, which makes me wonder why we even need the castle tome in the first place. But basically, you can't do anything with it. It's useless. It's for now. Because I think that these are supposed to be used here. I think that the counter spells are supposed to be used in this area right here. But as you can see, the number of counter cards that I have, every time I click on it, I've currently got 2 right now in this little area. Okay, I've got 2 of them. I click on it, it shows 3, and then it goes back to 2. See that? Quickly switching to 3. You're going to have to focus right there. Right here. Yeah. Alright. I think the counter spells are supposed to be used here. And that affects the counter value versus the test value. And I think that you're supposed to be able to put, as usual, to actually make this thing do something, you know, I think you're supposed to be able to put those there. Alright. Black Cat Attack. So if I wanted it to attack the wagon, I think the way, and let me explain how I think this is supposed to work. Click that. Oh, no, now we're back to that. We're back to that. Okay, see. Let me try, I don't know, let me try and explain this without putting that thing in. I think you're supposed to be able to put a certain amount of counters. So if you've got like 5 of these add to counter spells, you put, and you want a counter value of 5, you put all 5 counter magic, counter spells or whatever in there, add to counter spells, you put 5 of them in there and it gives you a counter value of 5. Either that, or, you know, it slowly increases kind of like a timer, you know, saying. Alright. Now, here's the thing. Okay. It doesn't work. Counter spells only work with magic counters. Okay, so maybe, you know, the average person's thinking, okay, so maybe I have to put the spell here. Okay, let's put that there. Let's see what happens when I do that. We have it targeting the wagon right now. Okay. Let's see what happens. Add the counter. Counter spells only work with magic counters. Okay. Well, let's fix that then. That's an issue. Alright. We can put it there. We can't use it on anything else because we put it's taking up the space here. And watch what happens if you change its target. Counter spells only work with magic counters. I'm pretty much convinced that I do understand how this works. Because again, I have literally gone through and tried every possible thing to get these to work. And you've probably noticed that each time I try and explain how it works, I come upon a new problem. You know, a new notification comes up across my screen telling me, oh, you can only do this. You know, it kind of interrupts me and I'm just like, oh, Lord. Yeah, it's not working. It's not doing anything. Again, I'm not mad at KI for this. I'm mad at them for not explaining stuff better. Right now, I don't think it has anything to do with the instructions. I just think that it's bugged. Alright? But if KI had explained this better, at least then I could be 100% sure that it was a bug, and I wouldn't have to just continually just test pretty much everything. Because then I'd know, okay, well, this is how this works, and if it's not working that way, then there's something wrong with it. But they've left a shadow of a doubt by not completely explaining it. They explained fishing perfectly. Whenever I read the instructions for fishing, I understood them. You know, and whenever I actually put into practice, obviously, it's better to, you know, learn how to do it than just expect to read a manual and completely understand it. But if you're going to make a manual, at least make the manual complete. Complete the manual. Fill the manual up with all of the information, well, all of the information needed to understand the topic. Obviously, if I wanted to understand how pets worked, I wouldn't need KI to put each and every individual pet, a list of each and every individual's pet's talents, you know, how much a hatch would cost, depending on blah, 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 you know. I just need to understand, A, how to hatch, B, when I'm allowed to hatch, and C, you know, what exactly hatching is for, how it could benefit my wizard, that kind of stuff. That's what I need to know. It doesn't have to get super nitpicky and literally go through every single sub-question possible. It just, you know, it needs to explain how it works. Alright? Sorry for the long video, guys. It's 24 minutes long, you know, almost 25 now. But I needed to get that, you know, get that out of my head. If KI fixes this, I really hope they do. I'm definitely sending in a bug report of some sort, or an email to them. I don't know if they'll actually do anything about it. I really hope they do, you know, because that would make this so much easier. But as soon as they fix that, I will make a full guide on the second half of Castle Magic. Until then, I do have a guide coming up. I'm just not going to be able to do anything with the magic counters. That's going to be left out of the guide. So there will probably be a separate one, probably a really short one, like 6 or 7 minutes long, involving the magic counter itself. Just a standalone guide for specifically that castle magic item. That's only when the problem gets fixed, though, because right now, and I just showed you, I can't do anything with those. Unless the point is just to randomly put counters into the magic counter item, there's no point to it. Castle magic is supposed to affect another item. It's supposed to affect things in your house to change things. Alright? It's not, what the magic counter is doing is nothing. It's not doing anything. It serves no purpose. And again, I think it's just because currently the way it's supposed to work is bugged. I don't think that it's actually built to not do anything. I don't think KI would be that ridiculous. They have brains. They know what they're doing. They just made a mistake. Alright? I hope they fix it. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, be sure to comment, and be sure to subscribe for more amazing content coming your way. I'll have another video up in 1 to 2 days. That guide is definitely coming soon. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I mean, I was going to make it tonight, but I guess we kind of ran into an issue. I was going to load my house up with some really cool castle magic stuff to give you some nice little examples of how things could work, but I ran into an issue. And I will definitely start working on that guide tomorrow. Obviously, it won't be complete because I can't use the castle, the magic counter. But, who needs it? Alright, guys. Peace out, and enjoy your day, or night, or morning, or evening, whatever.